Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven, and this is the Storytime channel. Today we have some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, and our first story of the day is by Unfettered Defiance. No, I didn't just talk to you. No, I do not work here. So the story goes like this. I'm asked to go get some groceries. I tend to shop at Wood Guys. It's a nice big store, great service, great variety. I take my cousin Paris with me because she needs a few things. Now, an important thing to note is that I'm 6'3" and black. My cousin Paris is not. She is as white as the snow-capped peaks of the mountains of Caucasus. Paris is not her real name, but she is named after a place like that, and so is her sister. Paris has baby blue eyes, platinum blonde hair, dimples, and looks like someone fused Billie Eilish and Phoebe Cates together and made them snow white. I'll admit that she's really pretty, which is actually relevant to the story. She is my uncle's stepdaughter and has been hanging around me a lot since I got back in town. Now everything's going well. I grab me some U-Singers, spend some time staring forlornly in the ramen aisle, go and check and get some meats, both real and fake, and just generally minding my own business. Paris and I split up because she was asking me some uncomfortable questions about feminine products, and as mature as I believe I am, that's no man's land and only my wife is gonna get me to listen to you talk about that stuff. So I head off to make some life and health decisions about some chips. I wanna get flaming hot Doritos, maybe get some Rico's nacho cheese, get you some chorizo, some chunky salsa, and some ground beef, and you've got something. But that's a very serious bathroom visit later in the day. Especially for me. Do I want to risk the holy heck I'm going to feel if I go that route? I'm very seriously in consideration. This is why I probably didn't hear this lady when she called me the first couple of times. I only notice her when she walks up. She was white, middle-aged, and dressed like she was 20. Not a good look. I remember scoffing at her brand new Buccaneers jersey because she had on a Patriots coat and booty shorts. The jersey was one of those ones that show midriff, and I have to admit, she didn't really look like she took care of her skin. I also have a problem with people who dress cute when it's cold. I'm thinking all kinds of negative stuff from the start. She couldn't be more offensive unless she was rocking a Kevin King jersey. She starts up with the, "Are you gonna help me or not?" very rude tone. Hands on the hips, animated, that whole neck shaking thing. I'm like, huh? So she starts listing things, saying she asked for this and that and for me to go see where the butcher was. He apparently wasn't at his post. I was confused and asked her what she was on about, and she gets mad, telling me that she already asked all this and wouldn't have to repeat herself if I had listened. She didn't say it like that, she insulted me, but I don't for the life of me remember what she said. I was too busy trying to figure out why she was talking to me. It takes me a moment to realize she thinks I work here. I politely tell her she is mistaken, we've never spoken, and I do not work here. She tells me she sees me there all the time and she just spoke to me, that she isn't stupid. I told her I didn't think she was, just that she was mistaken. I went to tell her that I'm not even dressed like I work there, but my jacket was in the cart. It's a bomber jacket that gets stupid hot indoors, so you can see my outfit, and I am wearing a sweater vest from my college, a polo, khakis, and Timberlands. I kind of do look like I work there. The sweater vest is indeed blue, though not the same blue as the aprons you see around. I point to the team logo on my vest and reiterate that I don't work there and she is mistaken. That's when things go from weird to, this woman is insane. Paris pokes her head out of the aisle behind me and asks if I can grab one of the boxes of noodles at the top. The full box is in plastic. The flavor she likes doesn't have enough individual ones for her liking. She's a fan of duck flavor. I apologize and dismiss myself from the lady's presence and go to help Paris. This was apparently a bad move because watching me help Paris get her ramen and then grabbing several other things from high shelves pissed the lady off. Keep in mind Paris is like 5'2" in wedged shoes. She's like a slightly tall child, to be honest. She starts in at me loud as a banshee, giving me the, "I knew you worked here." She starts yelling. Her language is colorful and she seems to have a particular stick up her rear because she thinks I'm helping Paris because she's younger and pretty, instead of helping a real woman like her. I must have had a look on my face because she gives me a I'll have you know plenty of men find me attractive, and said some pretty disparaging things at Paris's expense. My cousin and I aren't all that close. In fact, she's a bit of a spoiled brat, and our relationship is contentious at best. She and her sister are usually selfish, big-headed, believe you ain't gonna disrespect her in my presence. If I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't let you disrespect her sister London either, and I can't stand her butt. I say, look here lady, I understand you're having some kind of identity crisis, gesturing at her outfit. But I can assure you that I do not work here. My cousin is not some hot girl I'm helping instead of you. We've never spoken before, and despite what the police would have you believe, we do not all look alike. She then accuses me of calling her racist, which I laugh at as she tells me, I'll have you know that I've dated black guys. Which Paris chimes in, letting her know that she can choke down as many Black Richards as she wants, and that doesn't make her not racist. The woman said she doesn't hate black people, and we're racist for assuming she does. This pisses off Paris, who tells her she ain't gotta hate black people to be racist, just think that being white makes her better, or them worse. You ain't gotta hate nobody to treat them different, because you all up in your own butt, which gonna have to give her a gold star for. I'll be real, never expected to hear something like that from her. It took a bit, but the commotion finally got the attention of a worker who comes over. He is a black guy, as tall as me, carrying several items in his hands. I cannot express enough how much he looks nothing like me. I turn to midlife crisis, and I can see the recognition on her face when she looks at him. He is skinny as sin. I used to be a defensive lineman. I've never been skinny. He immediately asks if there's a problem and starts handing her things, apologizing because the item she was looking for had been in the area it was supposed to be, just moved from where she remembered it being. Which is code for, you should have took 5 seconds to look around. She is stunned silent for like 2 whole minutes, like you can see the clockwork going on in her head. She wants to say something, but she keeps looking up trying to figure out how she mistook me for this guy. She shoots Paris a dirty look because she's giggling like an idiot. Lady wants to say something so bad, but she holds back, to her credit. Her skin reddens like a tomato, and her face is like going through emotions. It's like if she was an actress that was told to emote with just her face. Her acting coach would have applauded her because she was running the gambit. Lots of head nods and everything, like she was having a heated conversation in her head. Then she starts stammering. I know she wants to continue this argument, but she's lost all footing because I step over next to the guy to illustrate how little we resemble each other. Paris is laughing her butt off by now. I look at the guy and say, she just confused me for you. I mean, can you blame her? We could be twins. He looked at me funny for a moment and then realized what happened and gave the look that all black people give each other in these situations, which is basically us thinking, the caucasity. I very politely, but very condescendingly tell the lady, I'm happy you found your man, and I hope the rest of your day is exceptional. I find being polite is a better freak you than saying freak you. Paris hit her with a, have a nice day, Karen, with no emphasis on the Karen, and we just walked away. I have to admit, despite our differences, I was very proud of my cousin for that. She's not known for sticking up for anyone. She's kind of spoiled. But I was happy she stood up for me, because I might have said some things most foul if she hadn't. After we left, I took her to get ice cream. She's in her early 20s, but really likes ice cream. If you found yourself in this kind of a situation, do you have a friend or a family member in mind that you know would back you up like OP's cousin here did? Somebody you know you can rely on to have your back in these moments when somebody's trying to confront you with words? Let me know in the comments down below. This next story is by a wild goose. Guy at Home Depot kindly mistook me for an employee. This actually happened a day or two before this past Christmas. My brother and I, 24-year-old male, had just bought some sort of table saw for my dad and loaded it into his truck. Naturally, I start to push the large, flat cart we used back towards one of the little parking lot storage areas to drop it off. Do those things have a name? Now, I'm wearing sweatpants and a hoodie with the hood up because it's raining, and honestly, I was feeling a little gangster pulling that cart one-armed behind me. As I pass a truck, I can see someone getting out from my periphery and walking straight towards me. I just thought, oh, this person probably just wants to use the cart since I'm done with it. I stop to face him and he begins, "Hey, could you tell me where?" He stops himself and asks, "Wait, you work here, right?" "No," I reply. "I was just on my way to put this cart back over there," while I point towards the cart collection thingamajigger. So he says, "Well, here, let me take that for you." And without even giving me a chance to respond, he takes the cart, drops it off, and then heads on into the store. It all happened so fast and it honestly just really brightened my day up. I couldn't have imagined a smoother recovery. Chivalry isn't dead yet, folks. It isn't dead yet. The spirit in this story is like the absolute opposite from what you'd expect in I Don't Work Here, Lady. It's nice to see somebody recognize that they messed up and not only apologize, but actually go out of their way to do something nice for the person. Are we sure we're on the right subreddit? This next story is by that is Captain Marvel in reverse. It finally happened to me. I have to admit that as much as I enjoy reading everyone's posts, I have felt skepticism about some stories. No more. I am a 62-year-old female, and I was at the Mart of Walls waiting to receive a shot. Not for COVID, for your information. I was sitting off to the side in a folding chair between two shoulder-height boxes of kids' foam basketballs and next to the restroom door. While filling out the insurance stuff, I had been asked by 3 different people if it was okay for them, general public, to use the restroom. I had no idea, but told them I believed it was okay. So while I was filling out info on a clipboard, 2 older fellows literally screamed at me, "Where are the Q-tips?" As I'd shopped there before, I was able to tell them where they were. They complained about the location as if I had anything to do with it. I got to toss out those immortal words, "I don't work here." 2 things immediately came to mind. 1, the posts I've read are real. And 2, I was finally going to make my first post on Reddit. Oh, trust me, unless the story is absolutely ridiculous like sometimes they are, for the most part they are real. To be fair, I've had my own experiences, so they're definitely real. Our next story is by SJ Nayal L83R. We'll have another round. A couple of years ago, a few of us were at a craft beer restaurant. It's small and the owners actually operate the place. Cooking, taking orders, serving pitchers, and getting to know people. One day, I'm coming back from placing my order at the counter. The place has never had waiters or waitresses, and everyone knows or learns pretty quickly you have to order from the counter. Somehow, it works. So I'm walking back, and a table of 4 older Karens are doing their thing. One of them starts saying, excuse me, then starts snapping her fingers at me and the finger come here motion. First thing out of my mouth is, "I don't work here." And of course she knows everything and rolls her eyes. She starts off the drink orders. So I kept saying, as they put in their new orders. One of them actually asked me why I wasn't writing it down. I just said I'll remember. As the last one is almost finished talking, I can see my pitcher is being brought over to my table. So I say to them that their drinks will be there shortly. I turn and walk right over to my table and sit down. Everyone was just looking at me, waiting for me to tell them what I was freaking doing. I said I took their drink orders. We just watched them sitting there as the energy started shifting to impatience and frustration. The owner stops by their table and asks how everything is going. They start letting him have it, saying how it's been 15 minutes and they haven't been served the drinks yet. Long story shortened, they say, "Well, we put in an order with your waiter. He says we don't have wait staff." So she calls him a liar and is saying, "I'll find him." She looks around and finally sees me. Her face changed colors a little. I actually gave her a smile and a cheers knowing she has an empty drink. I should have blown her a kiss. They got what they had coming to them. OP tried to clearly say they didn't work there, and the Karens treated him like poo-poo and downplayed everything they were saying and whatnot. You get what you give. And our final story of the day is by Akiva Vita, Joanne's Ladder. I was in a craft store in the middle of the day, squatting and looking at a few things on the bottom rung, when a woman approached me and motioned to where next to me there was one of those big rolling ladders that a lot of stores have for restocking high shelves. She asked, "Can I move this?" I shrugged and said, "I won't tell if you don't." She paused, gave me a strange look, then moved the ladder, took something off the shelf, and walked off. A few minutes later, I was in another aisle, now with a few items in my hand, and she turned a corner and recognized me. She looked at me for a moment and then started to laugh before apologizing about earlier and saying she thought I was an employee. We both laughed and she wished me a nice day and was on her way. I mean, if I was OP, I'd also say, I won't tell if you don't. I don't care if you move a ladder. Honestly, the lady would have gotten away with it if she just hadn't brought it up again. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So, until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.